you know. So
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I think for me, definitely, I think, that saying that with age comes wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about us knowing each other for 21 years.
Mm-hmm.
Our perspective of what our future was going to be like in undergrad is totally different
Oh
than
yeah.
our future is in the present.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about in perspective of the life experiences
Mm.
had, is that when I think about my goals now and where I'm going, you
Mm-hmm.
know, the time limit on it is not it. I don't set the same limits that I used to
Mm-hmm.
set for myself when I was younger, because now I have a better understanding of the time that things take, and when it's your season, you
Yeah,
don't necessarily have to do things in a certain period of time, but you just have to be in position. So
that's
I
right.
think that, someday is a perspective, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and you have to be in position in order to receive the blessings that are coming to you, you
Yeah,
know. So yeah, I definitely think it's all about an individual's perception and perspective of life.
that's true. I love that you each add in components of time and it all connects back to concept of faith. I think that a lot of people, something I heard the other day was talking about how faith actually takes aspects of time. And in our society, we live in a microwave society. That it's like if you need something, go to Google. Google pull it up right there. You're like, okay,
Right.
that's what it is. You're able to move. Sometimes when you're working on something that requires your faith, it's not going to happen that quickly.
That's
And
true.
as you said, when we were in undergrads, our mindset was like, oh, in 5 years, so and so and so and so, in 2 years, so and so and so and so. And it was great to have the ambition because you needed that to move forward. However, when you do begin to live life, you realize like there's so many revolving things around you that's going to affect that time frame that you have.
Right.
And
yeah,
so if you're cutting off all your friendships and relationships, then sure, you might be able to get certain time frames and stuff like that. But when you begin to live and connect with individuals, then it sort of expands that concept too. Okay,
hmm
Yeah.
wonderful. All right, so I have a question about unfinished business because that's one of the components that's like an underlining element that sort of weaves itself throughout the whole entire book. That when you have unfinished business from your past, that it can affect that concept that you have for someday. Do you believe that's true? Or do you think like, oh no, your past can't necessarily affect what you're doing now and it's not going to affect your future?
Oh yeah, I most definitely think that. I think that if you don't close chapters
Mm-hmm.
properly, that it can affect your present day. And
Mm-hmm.
what I mean by that is, I was talking to a colleague, and they shared with me that a previous breakup had been plaguing them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't until they spoke it out loud. Hey, you're
Oh,
going to be okay.
yeah.
Get over it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a shift for them. And I think that when we are young and we're dating, you think that you're dating with a purpose,
Yeah.
but it isn't until you are whole that you can really date with a purpose, because then
Mm-hmm.
you have an understanding of who you are and who God has for you. And so I think that when, for both of us, I was at a place where, I was all career oriented. I've got my
Mm-hmm.
master's degree. I'd had a lot of opportunities to travel and do all types of things. Neither of us had kids, when we
Mm-hmm.
met. And so life was different,
Oh
you
yeah.
know. Um, and we both healed from the previous, situations or date or people we were dating. Those
Yeah.
things healed. And the blessing in healing before you take things to the next level is, I'll say it like this: if you haven't healed from something, every time you see it, it's almost as if a band-aid is being ripped off.
Yes, it
And
is.
go through that
right,
trauma again,
right,
right?
right.
You sure will.
Healed, you can walk in the room with what used to be traumatic
Mm-hmm.
with all smiles, and everybody
Yep.
else is trying to figure out why this isn't bothering you anymore. But it's
Mm-hmm.
because you took that time to heal, you took that time to grow, and so you laid it to rest.
Yes.
And I feel like for us, that's what we both had done before we met each other. I always like to say, I was in patiently waiting for that God had for me. But the only way that I can really do it, because patience is a virtue, the only way
Oh
that I can
yes.
do that is by putting to bed my past, closing that chapter totally out and healing from that. And those things take time, but
It
don't let
does.
too much of your time, because
Mm,
it says the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So as long as he can allow those things to plague you, you're never going to get to where you need to be, because you always wonder about what happened over here.
that's
So
right.
you have to learn that, the past is the past for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And there's blessings in elevation. And
Yes.
so that's where we are, that's where we've been since the day we met, just in that mode of elevation.
Right. And I would just say that, as far as, if you want to move forward, the things in the past, not everything you have to um, get correct or get closed out per se,
Mm-hmm.
but there are certain things that, like she said, it plays a major effect that if it feels like it's a band-aid being ripped off every time
Oh,
you
yes.
think about it or come about it or whatever, then that's something that um, you have to take a stand and deal with, not 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 escape from it, because if you escape from it, you're not dealing with it. So
That's
you have,
true.
take a stand, face on to it, and get things resolved in a certain manner to where, once you feel comfortable that you've done that, you can move on. It's basically like saying you don't want to get too comfortable in one area. You have to
Mm-hmm.
kind of be in an uncomfort zone at all times,
Oh, yeah.
move forward. So it's like once you kind of get something else out of the way, if it feels like you get comfortable, it's time to move forward to something different that you're not so comfortable in, but yet something you can that's going to help you grow. So
Help
it's
you
basically
grow.
like